Good evening, everyone. Good evening to you, sir. I am Rotaractor Mohammed Shayan Usmani, and I'm the president of Rotaract Club of Patalganga. I am glad to welcome you all to another event of Rotaract Colloquium 1.0, which is a professional development initiative. Today's dialogue is on a topic which is very important from academics perspective, and the topic is how to prepare for MBA and MMS, and how does it enhance your life and career. This webinar is organized by Rotaract Club of Patalganga in collaboration with Rotaract Club of Panache, Rotaract Club of Alumni, Rotaract Club of Unitech, Rotaract Club of United Ranchi, Rotaract Club of Symbiosis Law School, Rotaract Club of Kopoli, Rotaract Club of DYP, ACS, and Rotaract Club of JSPM's Rajarshi Shahu College of Engineering. Now I take the honor and privilege to introduce our honorable speaker for the day, Dr. Pradip Chatterjjee. Dr. Pradeep Chatterjee is the director of Pillai HOC Institute of Management Studies and Research. He is an alumni of the prestigious Indian Institute of Management, Calcutta, and SPJIMR Institute of Management Studies and Research. He has held the positions of President and CEO of MNC conglomerates and Indian organizations for 23 years. In his last assignment, he was the CEO, Southeast Asia Pacific, for a Fortune 50 conglomerates company. Prior to that assignment, he was the president of Prabhudas Leeladhar Group and senior vice president and retail head, apart from the senior and board level positions. He has traveled widely and has dabbled in handling business generation, strategy formulation, and implementing control mechanisms across the globe. He has a passion for teaching and has been a faculty for the past 20 years in various management institutes. Dr. Chatterjee is also an international consultant for Gerson Lehrman Group worldwide and advises clients such as Prudential, Nikko Tokyo, and other international clients. Dr. Chatterjee has also received an outstanding research paper award from Mumbai University in 2014, and he is a regular speaker at national and international forums. It's an honor to have such an eminent and erudite personality on our platform to deliver a session on how to prepare for MBA, MMS, and how does it enhance your life and career. So now I request Dr. Chatterjee to preside the session and address the gathering. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Thank you. So warm welcome to each one of you. And I guess that most of you who are attending this session are looking forward to doing an MBA or an MMS or whatever you call it, a 2 years postgraduate in management studies. So the topic that actually was given to me or was that how do you prepare for doing a MMS MBA or any postgraduate management study. I will take you through the process of the basic preparation, the factorial output, what will happen to you once you do this program, and of course, how does it enhance or build your career and your life going forward. So the primary objective of doing an MBA actually is now misunderstood by most people when they do an MBA. MMS, as Bombay University gives the degree, it's called MMS, Masters of Management Studies. And MBA is a colloquial term which is given by other universities. But Bombay University does not give you an MBA, it gives you a Masters of Management Studies, which is MMS. So primarily, the objective of doing an MMS is not to really look for the basic understanding that I will get a better salary, better life. That's not the objective. The objective is that all these monetary, whatever returns you get after doing the degree is going to be actually a byproduct, which will keep coming in. Depends on how much, whatever. But the primary objective of doing the program is that you have to get an in-depth knowledge of how do you run your own life and how do you create a fashionable organization where others work for you and they live the dream that you for them. one you tell the participants of their microphones, all of them?
Yes, sir. I request some of you are here. Please do the needful. Okay,
Yes,
sir,
yes,
you can continue, sir.
definitely.
So, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are absolutely audible.
Thank you. Thank you. And if you see the different levels of MBA colleges and institutions or MMS college institutions, you realize that these colleges are graded based on the efforts that the student is made to pursue. And that is where the biggest chunk of the differential advantage of doing an MMS or an MBA program comes in. So most of the students who are looking for doing a abbreviated course and carrying that or attaching that to their name or CV or whatever, that's not the right way to look at it, because that's not what the objective should be. So now I will start off with taking you through the process of how do you prepare yourself for doing an MMS or an MBA. Now, all these MMS MBA programs have a entrance exam. Now, these entrance exams are graded differently. If you go through an entrance exam for Bombay University, which is the CET, MHCET, whose date should be coming out in the next 1 month, anytime, and then so on and so forth, this would be graded at a fairly easy level of exam compared to if you go to a CAT. The IIM CAT are supposed to be the one of the top two difficult exams globally. Just for your information, that most of us may not know this, the CAT is rated in the top two most difficult exams for management globally. So that's why you see that most of the people who go through an IIM do very well globally, because they cater to that bunch of students who have made it from the Indian institute. Like the IIT and the IIMs from India, they're really, really well respected all over the world, because the grade level of competency for these two institutions is still one of the highest in the world. But nonetheless, now everybody doesn't go through a CAT, doesn't need to go through a CAT. If you go through the CET program and build yourself on the MMS lines, it is good enough. So how do you really prepare yourself? You see, the fundamental understanding of going through this program should be that you don't really prepare only for the exam to get into a college. You actually start preparing to build your base so that you do well for yourself through the program that you're going to go for and thereafter your life. So the whole classification is going to be of that level. ये जो MHCET है, this actually is a qualifier exam. And unfortunately, and I'm using the word unfortunately, this is not a grade exam, because the requirement for MHCET for Bombay University is that you have to get a non-zero mark. That means even if you get one, some college will recruit, which actually is not the real reason why an entrance exam should be there. But let's assume that that's the way it is. So that's the way it is. So preparation for MHCET really does not take you into that hard and whatever. But if you really want to go through the process of this getting you to the MBA program, then you have to understand that there are three parametrics that you must follow. Number one is that you have to start working on your basic mathematics from 8th standard to 12th standard, and not integration, derivatives, not that. The basics, the motion, time study, these kind of maths is what is required for you to go back to. Now, unfortunately, what happens is as we go through our graduation, most of us end up not doing maths for 3 years and we forget. So, and a manager must know how to calculate basics. And mathematics is not about knowing how to calculate right or fast. Mathematics is knowing how to analyze a problem and come to a logical conclusion or solution. So there is a difference. Management asks you to come down to a logical conclusion, which you can enforce during your program or during your organization days or during any process that requires your inputs. So mathematics is absolutely like you're standing on a road and you see a car coming. Do you cross the road on an assumption that you will cross on the other side without the car hitting you? If you cannot do that and you cross the road and the car hits you, then the entire mathematics of you having calculated that you will go to the other side goes false and you end up with your life. That's what mathematics is actually all about as far as management maths is concerned. Can you arrive at a logical solution by utilizing the basics of mathematics so that you can overcome a problem which occurs? That's the fundamental understanding of maths. The second that you must be ready with or should be able to go through this program before you get into is logical reasoning. There is something which is called logical reasoning. And the third is English. Now, English also is on a medium level. English is not that tough as you would get in a CAT or whatever. In MATE CET, English is on a medium level. I mean, if you read the newspapers on a daily basis, if you read journal magazines, if you listen to a news every day on English news on a television, you're fairly there. You'd be able to crack your English to that extent. So it's nothing much difficult. And in fact, MHCET, according to me, and I'm being very blunt about it, is not difficult at all. So all you need to do is sit down and get over this. Now at Pillai HOC Institute of Management Studies, my institution, we are having a free CET online program every Monday. In fact, we have completed about 15, 16 hours of program already. But every Monday we have this, and coming Monday always onwards, we will be having from 11 to 2 o'clock. So all those of you who are interested, and this is absolutely free, and there is no guarantee of you to give that you will join me or not. I'm not looking for that. We are very clear that we are here as educationists to educate you all, and the learning is free. You just have to join in, and we do this program every Monday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And for this, if you really want to enroll yourself, you will have to send a WhatsApp message with your name, your mobile number, and currently the institution that you are from. And you should be able to send this to this. This is Professor Aditya Sontakke. And can you see the number?
Yes, sir, we can.
Can you read it out, please?
Okay.
Yes.
Professor Aditya Sontakke. The number is 93216-06818.
We will also share in the chat section.
Yeah. So this is the number. Please write your name, your mobile number, and the college that you are now from. I mean, whichever college you passed out or whatever. We will add you to the group, and next Monday onward, when we have our lectures, you will be rolled in. We will give you the connects to roll in, and you can attend the program. There's absolutely no problem on that. So going back to, there are 2-3 things that I must share with you first before we go to the next part of whatever I talk to you all. The first is that I want all of you as students to realize 2 things. Never ever carry your past as your baggage. Now, some of you may have not done well in your 11th, some of you may not have done well in your 12th. Some of you may have had some bad results in the first, second year. Don't bother. Just don't bother. Because once you come into a MMS program, at least I can assure you that in my campus, under me, we don't even look at your past at all. The reason is that you have come here to create a new future, and for that, never ever carry your past baggage. It never works in your favor. The first, learn to get that out of your system. If you have not done well, you have not done well. Thank you. It's over. Now you need to know that you need to put in more than 500%, to take your life forward. See, this is the only program which will teach you that you do something for yourself, but the way you do it and the way you develop yourself is completely different than what you have done in the last 20 years. At least in my campus, I can tell you that I make my students learn 24 books every year on an average. Thanks to this COVID, this year my batch got saved, but still they are still reading those books at whatever levels we have given them. And now I personally, I teach the subject perspective management, general management. And in that, what I do is I take a chapter, I teach the chapter, and with the chapter, I make them read a book, which is not syllabus, which is non-syllabus management-based books, like Good to Great or Who Moved My Cheese. Or, so there are 24 books. Every book we take out related. So what happens is that you're learning. The reason why I'm telling you this is not that I'm advertising my campus. I'm just telling you this for a reason that, you know, when we teach you, and I always say this, that you need good teachers rather than good students. And when we teach you this and we put a book inside that, we have a book review session. What we do is the whole class reads the book. There are groups selected book-wise. They come and present the book, and then we have a discussion in the classroom on that book related to the chapter which you're supposed to read in the syllabus. Now, what happens is the most campuses teach you the syllabus and it's over. But that's not the way I look at it. Because if you really read a book which is non-syllabus, you really understand the perspective from a different level. And as you grow ahead in life and you take up higher positions in the organization, you will be rewarded and your people will have loyalty towards you only when you attack the same problem with a completely different perspective. That's the difference. If a person, like, let's have three people, a person, the same you, in 12th standard, in graduation, and in post-graduation, suppose MMS completed, the same problem, if it comes, you should be able to tackle it much different at all the three fronts. That's the real value of education. Education is not about degrees. Education is about maturity. How much mature can you become when you attack the same problem and give it a logical conclusion? There are at 12th standard, you will be reactive. At MMS, you should be proactive. And that path that you travel for the 5 years that you are post your 12th standard is what has been the fertilizer to become from reactive to proactive. And this is the game. That's why when you see students from good campuses, the way you interact with them and the impression that they leave on you when they leave you and go, that impression stays with you longer. That's because they have come into you with something that was ingrained into them, and when they left, they kept that ingrained version of themselves with you, and they moved away. That stays with you. That's what management does. Because when you stand up as a leader and there are 2,000 people reporting to you or 5,000 people reporting to you, they are impressed by what you say and what you do. But nobody in this world is impressed because you are saying it. They are impressed when they see that you can make a difference in their lives. Always remember this. If you want to be successful, always remember, you have to make a difference to the organization which you serve and the people who serves you. You are a conduit between the organization and its value system and the people who believe in you. Your one decision will make a difference to their lives. And that decision, that means, comes with a lot of maturity and responsibility. In India, most of the people want a very high designation without being accountable. You can't do that in life. Every single responsibility comes with an accountability. If you do not have an accountability for the responsibility that you have taken, you're not fit to be a leader. And that's what management education will teach. Actually, there are some people where you meet some people in life, right? Or most of us meet as we grow, our families, our friends, or you'll always find that people who meet you and who tell you that, oh, he's successful because he was lucky. This is a standard phrase which most people tell you that. And I always tell you this, that there is nothing called luck. Luck is when preparation meets opportunity. If you have an opportunity today and you're prepared to take that opportunity, that's when luck strikes. And that's why a lot of times there's a beautiful saying. It says, success is a matter of luck. Ask any failure. Failures will always keep on telling, oh, he was lucky, he did that. Because that's what they all say, because that's the only compromise that they can tell themselves in life. When somebody is working 6 day, that bugger is sleeping. The management program, that fellow is twiddling his thumb. So when life comes back and gives, life is absolutely full cycle. I retired at the age of 45 from corporate life. I said, thank you, goodbye, enough. And that was my game plan. Some of us friends, when we passed out of SPJ, we had our own equation. When do we retire? Most of us, the group that we are, we all said we'll retire at 45. So all my classmates, we all retired at 45, most of them. Some are still working. But the point is, even that happened in the IIM batch that I was with. We all decided that the reason is that you work for some time, you work and you give your best, burn yourself out, over, move on, do something that you want to live with, do something that you like doing. And you take your life on a fourth gear, work it, relax it, put it on autopilot, and live it nice, no problem. You don't have to sleep with a worried head that, next 6 years, if I don't get a job, what do I do? You don't have to. Because what happens? Somebody moves in at very late, get beaten up on all sides, and then realizes, oh my God, life is not good. Life is hitting me. Life has been very bad to me. Sorry, life is same for everyone. The problem is you never attack life the way you should have because you are not prepared for it. So you have to understand this is the program, and I'm being very honest with you. All of us, my batchmate, my friends, all of us who have done this program. I mean, I have done my MMS from SPJIMR, and then I did my PGP from IIM Calcutta. So all of us who have done this realize that what kind of slogs we did. We have really, and I'm telling you this, you people may think that, we had classes for 12 hours every day, 8:30 in the morning to 8:30 in the night. And once we used to leave the campus, they used to give us a case study for next day morning. So now you go home, to your hostel, take a bath, freshen up, start discussing the case, because next day morning, 8:30, they'll take an exam. We did it. But people don't see this, right? When we hit the top end, people say, "Oh, to pहुंच गया," because नहीं पहुंच पाएगा. मैं आपको अभी भी बोल देता हूँ, कोई भी नहीं पहुंच पाएगा. और पहुंचोगे भी ना, तो गिरोगे. I became a CEO when I was 26 years of age. In 26 years of age, people don't even get their first job. And I'm very proudly telling you this. Because when you go through yourself and you go through the hard grind, life teaches you to take pressures and it becomes a part of you. प्रॉब्लम किधर होता है आपको बता दो. प्रॉब्लम ये होता है कि आप जब ये कंफर्ट जोन से निकल के डिस्कम्फर्ट में जाते हो, लाइक अप टू ग्रेजुएशन यू आर वेरी कंफर्टेबल, एंड अनफॉर्चुनेटली लेट मी पुट दिस ऑन रिकॉर्ड, 25 to 30% of Bombay University graduates should not be graduate at all. They are useless. So point is, you have an absolute comfort. Okay, you pass, your campuses help you to pass. You come home, you got a very cozy lifestyle. Whoever is your parents, they slog their hearts out, their lives out, and see that you are happy. So it's a very protective covering that you get. Now, after this, Arguably, you go to the corporate world, you join an organization, there is nothing called protection. You're absolutely exposed. Now comes the game that whoever has been under pressure plays a better role than whoever has not been able to take pressure and who breaks under pressure. So many people I know, they broke under pressure because they were unable to take it, because they've never faced that kind of pressure. I have given jobs to people, my students, 6 years ago, who passed out from this campus. And after about a month or two, I saw him in my campus during the day. So I said, "What are you doing here?" He said that I left my job. I said, "For what?" He said, "Because they are not leaving me before 8:30 in the night." So I said, "So?" He said, "No, I could not take that because they are not giving me time for lunch." Sorry, these things are not even expected out of you when you want to face life to go up the ladder. You are expected to serve. If you don't get lunch, it's okay. You don't get your dinner, it's all right. What is your focus? If success is your focus, everything else will fall by the roadside. Let me tell you this. And management education, a good management education teaches you these things through various methods. Like we do a lot of case studies with my students. We have a very serious approach with using cases. Now, basically what are cases is that all case studies and all managements, good colleges use this method, is where you are given a situation which which has happened earlier. So we go through the process and we ask you what is right, what is wrong. Like I always keep saying, there are no right or wrong answers in management. I have worked with a Japanese organization where I was the CEO for Southeast Asia, and we had an American partner. So the Japanese work absolutely opposite to that of the American. The Japanese have an absolute loyalty-driven organization. You work for a Japanese organization, they will test you for your impeccability and integrity. उसमें एक पैसा का भी गड़बड़ हुआ तो तुम गया काम. But a Japanese organization does not believe in the concept of firing you at all unless you have done some financial irregularity. They will keep on shifting you. If you're not good in one department, they'll shift you to another, then they'll keep on shifting. We do not have this fundamental understanding that if you have hired you, and after 3 years, we say that you're not good enough, you're fired. We don't do that. We're not supposed to do that because the principle is that no man is bad. Maybe you have put him in a wrong department. And so you keep on moving him till you feel that he's a right fit for some right position. And that onus is given on us CEOs. And we are very strongly looked at if we do not find a right fit for an employee whom we have recruited. Unlike the Americans can fire half of the organization in 1 month. They have nothing, no emotion, no connect, absolutely not. Now, both the organizations, both the countries are doing fantastically well. But that's the way of management. Management is never right or wrong. It's about how you implement. So when you do a case study or when you do these things, which is a part of the management structure, then you are undergoing these processes which has happened earlier for you to be aware of what you may or may not do going ahead. And there are 50 students in my class or 60 students in my class. You can have 10, 15 different ways of looking at the same case. And that is exactly what I'm trying to tell you. That's what your maturity or thought process is all about. Every individual can think differently for the same problem. And no two solutions are right, same, equal. And still, they will be right. So the beauty of the entire management education is that it teaches you to think differently, act functionally, and be mature at the end of the day. In Japan, there is an art which is called kintsugi, KINTSUGI. And I keep on repeating this to a lot of functions or a lot of places where I keep talking, because these are some fundamental things which I have learned when I worked with these organizations and been in that country and worked with them. This kintsugi is an art where they use, if you go to old Japanese houses and, which have got 100 years, 150 years worth of whatever, they generally have flower vases on their drawing room, on the tables of their drawing room. And most of these flower vases come under this concept called kintsugi. Now, what is kintsugi? Is a very beautiful concept. What they do is when a flower vase breaks or anything out of porcelain or or मिट्टी का बना हुआ कोई भी चीज अगर टूट जाता है, anything that breaks, they have a chemical which is actually gum, liquid gum mixed with gold. So सोने का पानी और gum का एक liquid मिलता है उधर. You get it. Now what they do is like, you have fix it or you have this Fevikwik or whatever. It's like that same concept, but it has got gold, liquid gold. Now what they do is they piece back the entire piece, applying this gold uh, glue. And once this thing is stuck back as it was when it was earlier, before it was broken, the thing comes back, but every crack that is filled has a layer of gold running through it. The reason is that they say that every single time that you're broken and you make yourself back, that means you come back again and you fall and you rise up, the experience is the gold. And so they put that in your drawing room to express that, wherever this thing has broken and we put it back, the experience of having broken whatever has gone through, experiences are golden. All experiences of failure are always golden. And in life, I'll tell you this, every time that you have failed, you have actually learned something. Success never teaches you. Success takes away from you. Success makes you arrogant. Success makes you virile. Success makes you rude. But failure does just the opposite. Every time you have failed in life, you have learned a new lesson. That's why I always tell this to my students. It is better that you fail in the beginning of your career than at the end. Because the first 10 years of your life, when you fail, you actually learn from it and you can take that forward to make your life better. When do people fail at the end of the career? When they have never failed or never done anything in the beginning of the career. Those are the people who actually lament and tell you that the world is a very bad place. दुनिया में कुछ ठीक नहीं है, सब खराब है, इंसान खराब है, सब खराब है, मेरे को कोई नहीं देखा. The problem lies with you. The world is accepting your parents. Nobody is here to take care of you. The world is not here to take care of you. Be very, very clear about that. You are supposed to take care of others. You are supposed to take care of the organization. You are supposed to take care of the people who work for you or we work with you. It's your job. Until the responsibility comes onto you, you are not a leader. So why I'm telling you this is that the moment you want to learn or do management as a subject or whatever you want to do going ahead, please understand that create a mental ideology that you want to go through this process and be happy, learn from it, and move ahead by, there is nothing called failure. Again, I'm coming back to it. There's a law in in nature. If you see nature, and now thankfully the pandemic has taught us a lot that nature is much stronger than we are. If you see nature, there's a law. It is called the law of wasted efforts. In nature, the wild animals, when they hunt, they are only successful 25% of the times. If you see animals, 50% of the animals do not reach puberty. They die. They are eaten away by the others forever. Most of the rainfalls fall in the oceans. Most of the seeds do not germinate. But that does not mean that the animal who has failed today to find a prey does not go out tomorrow morning to search for another one. The reason is that law of nature has taught them that this is what life is. You will attempt and you will not get it. It is only the humans who term them as failure, and then they accept that they failed, and then they don't go and do the same thing tomorrow morning. They decide. You decide that you are a failure. The world doesn't decide till you have accepted failure to be a part of your process. Till you have accepted that I have chosen something of a lower grade because I have not been able to do it of the higher grade. That means you have given up. Nature hasn't told you to give up. This is the law of wasted efforts. So, in the principles of management, also, when you start working on these things, when you start preparing for yourself for the management or whatever you want to do, and understand this: nobody is a failure till you have accepted that you have failed. But it is very, very critical for you to understand. Why I'm telling you this is that you are going to go in for these exams, you are going to go in for these entrance and thereafter the program. And I'm telling you this even for those who are going to get into the program and do it from some college. This is a process. You know, when you love something, you really don't look at failure. आप ये खुद भी जानते हो. जब आप कुछ ना कुछ अच्छा चाहते हो, मतलब suppose you're a good artist and you're drawing and something goes wrong, you don't tear it up and throw it away. You mend it. You put a little white over there, mend it, again come back with another color and pour it on that, let it dry, wait for it 2 hours to dry, then come back. You keep on working on it. You don't walk away from it. It's the same case with life, same case with management, or same case with whatever you do. When you walk away, the process becomes a full stop. When you are at it, it is you who is there to and this is something that I hold very close to my heart. You need to move in the past baggage. As long as you have qualified to do this program, which is 50% in your graduation, and you must get some marks in MHCET from Bombay University, I am telling you this. Please come and meet me in my campus, and I will talk to you, and then I will have you, I will take your admission. I am very clear on this. Because I have a very simple belief. Everybody cannot come with the best of marks. That does not mean that you cannot be a good manager going forward. Because management is the holistic science. It is holistic, H-O-L-O-istic. Holistic is when you as a whole, totality is developed, and then you go ahead and execute yourself for the organization, for the people, to enter into being what is called a good manager. So marks is only a fraction of what you actually are. And if you people are willing to go through this program and this process and take it in your stride and learn, then please go ahead and sit for these exams, get into good campuses. And, you know, as far as any one of you who is willing to come and meet me, I'm available. Once, of course, we open up after COVID, but my numbers are all there with your students here who have coordinated this. You can talk to them, or my mail ID or whatever I can share, and you can come online and talk to me. Or I've given Aditya's mobile number just now. He's available on WhatsApp on that number. You can coordinate. He handles the finance department, and he's a ICWCA and whatever. So he can talk to you and he can pave your way out if you have any problem. Otherwise, you can come and meet me. You're most welcome. I can always share my time with you people if you DM'd it. So that's it. So now the question is, what is it that you need to prepare basically if you really want to go through this? Now, as I said, what I practically find a little bad in this, and I'm being a little caustic when I'm telling you this, is that your generation and most of you people and I'm seeing this even in students whom I teach in this area, this part, is that you people do not read newspapers and you do not listen to news. These are two very, very simple but very potential armaments that you must have with you when you want to do management. You have to know your country and the economy, the world, because that's what shapes your understanding about what has happened to what will happen. So most of you, if you're trying to get into management in the program, my advice is from tomorrow morning, start reading Times of India and the Economic Times. It is not that costly. I mean, it's about 4 or 5 rupees now. You can spend 5 rupees a day. And please do not buy these newspapers to have your breakfast on them. हाँ? Newspaper खरीदेगा फिर उसके बाद breakfast खाएगा फिर हाथ पोंछ के फेंक देगा. वो मत करना. The second is, please try to watch an English news. It is important. Because the problem is that these are two things that I find a lot of this generation missing, including my own daughter. She says that she reads the newspaper on the app. I have never seen her do that. It's all nonsense. So if you are not reading it, you are actually ignorant. And if you are ignorant about the economy, the country, what's happening around you, how can you decide? How can you take a decision? How can you understand the impact of what is going to happen? How do you understand what is the financial implication of this country going forward? How many of you know, most of you have done your BMS or your BAF or BCom? How many of you can understand or tell me right now that the whole economy is in a toss, everything is in deep shit, and the stock market is going 52,000 plus? How can any one of you tell me? And if you do not understand these basic economics, why it is happening, how is it that oil is hitting 100 and the market still is maintaining the same index? Who is going to factor in this oil? How many of you know what is the difference of oil price between India and Pakistan? Pakistan, the total GDP of Bombay, we can eat up Pakistan. And Pakistan oil price is 50% than what we have in India. And how is it that our oil import bill is so high and still the stock markets are not reacting? Right? Na? आप लोग BAF पढ़ते हो, BA में. Have you ever really got inside these thought processes? Because if you do not get into these kind of thought processes, then passing and getting a degree is not going to help you. Because let me tell you something, organizations do not pay you for your degree. That's why you will see a lot of toppers in degrees do not do well in life, because their understanding of the subject is bad. Unless you understand something and you can use it to your advantage and take a calculative decision based on that and a calculated risk based on that, you are not going to be able to make beneficial decisions for yourself in your own life and your organization. मैनेजमेंट में जब आपको कोई कंपनी हायर करता है, वो इसके लिए हायर करता है कि आपके अंदर उसको एक पोटेंशियल दिखता है. The potential is how are you going to process the information that you have learned for 2 years for the benefit of the organization. Everything is a commercial relationship. Let me tell you that. If you are giving them 10 rupees, they are going to give you back 2 rupees as salary. But that difference is your learning. You know, the learning जो है ना word, learning में से अगर L निकाल दोगे तो earning दिखता है. Earning is always a subset of learning. Whatever you have learned in life and you can implement it is going to ultimately lead you to higher earnings. Your life, again, as far as I'm concerned, I can tell you this. If you are really looking at doing an MBA, your life will change. That I can guarantee you today. If you go through the process of good institutions or whatever institution that you feel are good enough for you, and you should go and meet the students of that place, you should talk to the students, whatever, in whatever form and manner, and you should find out. There are some institutions who are not that well advertised. For example, my institution, I can tell you that I do not believe in that advertising too much. But we work a lot with our students. I love to teach. So, and all my faculty members, if you see, you will realize that no faculty member in my campus teaches who himself or herself has not educated from the top 10 institutions of this country. I do not allow. I do not allow any teacher in my campus to teach below the level of general manager of an organization. You will not find. I will not allow. Because my concept is very simple. If you have not gone and walked that path in the jungle, you can never be a good tourist guide. तो अगर आप खुद जनरल मैनेजर एंड प्लस काम नहीं कर चुके हो, अब हमारा बच्चे को क्या सिखाओगे? And I'm very clear on my principle. So if you have not educated yourself to that level and gone ahead and done that, and what will you tell my students how to fail? It's important for us to teach you how to fail and how to get up from that failure and make that failure a path for you to be successful the next time. Failure is not bad. In this country, we are somehow or the other despise failure. Failure is never bad. It is failure which will make you do what you will do ahead in life. उसमें क्या problem है fail हुआ? लेकिन कोशिश किया कि नहीं, that is important. Most people do not try because they feel the fear of failure. Before even they try, they feel the fear of failure कि मैं fail होएगा तो क्या होगा? तो मेरा आंसर है, अगर तू fail ही नहीं होगा तो तू वहीं होगा जहां से शुरू भी नहीं किया, और अगर successful हुआ तो. So unless you try, how do you know that? And if you try, you will fail. It's all right. Nothing wrong. Absolutely nothing wrong. Get very clear in your mind. As long as you're honest, your integrity is of the highest order, you have all the license in this world to fail. Just go ahead and fail. Bindas karo. The other point that I want to tell you is, please do not take yourselves very seriously. I have seen a lot of you people in the generation, and I'm sorry to say this, keep seeing every year, you have very high inflated, bloated egos. Do not carry that with you all. Organization में जाने के बाद आपका ये ego और attitude और arrogance जो भी आप बोलो, इसको तोड़ के फेंक देगा. इसलिए do not take yourself that seriously, because learning is always easy when you are flexible. Otherwise, यही सीखने का time बहुत लोग, lot of people lose their self-confidence because they are unable to accept failure, because they have a very high ego, they have very high arrogance levels. How could he do that to me? Sorry, who are you? If the world has not remembered people who have sacrificed their life for this country and gone, you are nobody. When you go away from this world, and I'm telling you, you are young people who are going to face life, you're not in that, but I'm telling you from my perspective, when you go away from life, the third day from the day you are no more, world will move exactly the same way as it was the 3 days before. Your position will get replaced. Your organization will get somebody in your chair. Your family will also realize that ठीक है, आगे तो बढ़ना है. They will all take care of themselves. Don't worry. So don't take yourself so seriously that, oh my God, मुझे कैसा बोला? कुछ नहीं होता है. सीखो. कुछ भी हो जाए ना, सीखो. Learn. There is no other success formula. जो जितना जल्दी जितना फेल करके जितना सीखेगा, वो उतना जल्दी सक्सेस का लैडर के ऊपर बैठेगा. Because the world is all about confidence. आपके पास कॉन्फिडेंस तभी आएगा जब आप लड़ चुके हो. You know, I'll end my today's talk with a small snippet. There was the CEO of Coca-Cola, Brian Dyson. He was CEO for Coca-Cola for 40 years. I mean, 40 years he worked with Coca-Cola. He was CEO for about 12 years. So when Brian Danson was retiring, somebody asked him, what would you like to give as your message from your when you're retiring from Coca-Cola after working here for 40 years? So Brian Dyson said this. He said, in my entire career of 40 years, now that I'm retiring, I realized that all of us in life juggle with 5 balls. Out of these 5 balls, 1 ball is of rubber, and that is work. Work and working relationships are rubber. They will always come back to you. They'll bounce and come back. This company, this work, that work. But the other 4, the 4 other balls that you juggle with every time in life are made of glass. They are family, friends, health, and religion. The moment you drop one of these balls on the floor and it cracks, your life cracks permanently. So most people realize it the other way. They give everything for their work and sacrifice all this for. You should always remember that what you need to sacrifice is also predictable. You should know how much to sacrifice for whom, until what extent. Because when you are juggling with a rubber ball and you give everything and break all the 4 glass balls, your life is shattered. It is very, very important for you to know. You know, most of us in life, sometimes or the other, have faced this, that maine inke liye itna kiya, and you know, that person never stood up for me. That person never reacted to me the way I wanted. That person ditched me. That person went out, and because what you have done for that person perhaps has not had the same meaning for that person from you. Just because you do not eat a tiger doesn't mean a tiger will not eat you. Na? So your expectation of the tiger not eating you is your stupidity. But the tiger understanding that you are not going to eat him is his knowledge. Because that is predatory behavior. So you have to realize also that at what level are you going to give in to what and how much. So, and these are things that you absolutely have to learn. And this is what a part of management education is all about. That we also have to learn how much to give to whom, until when. So once you have understood these concepts by and large, you then start facing life. And life is the greatest teacher. Come whatever you may ask. कितना भी book पढ़ लो, life का question paper अलग ही होता है. और तभी खाली 2 चीज काम आता है. One is whatever you have learned in life, and second is your confidence. So that's what I think the gist is, or what I thought I'll talk to you all. And for anything that you want to know from me personally, Aniket, you can share them with you. And if anything that you require other than from me, you can always talk to Aditya. I've given you his number. He's available on WhatsApp. And for all those of you who are willing to or looking forward to doing this online free CET coaching that we are doing every Monday, please give your name, your mobile number, and the college that you're from to Aditya on his WhatsApp. You can start from today evening onwards. And our next session for the free online is at 11 a.m. coming Monday. And I wish you all the very best. And may you have a great career, a great life, and live a very good life going ahead. Life is beautiful. Let me tell you that. It's about the way you look at it. Life is always going to reflect back at you the way you look at life. Life is a mirror. You are sad, life is sad. You are happy, life is happy. You are lazy, life is lazy. And let me tell you this, be lazy in life. Life is not, you're not a machine, right? Be lazy. Aram karo life mein. Life mein itna hadbadi karne ki zarurat kya? Relax in life. Take your life easy. Live your life. Be good. Be happy. Spread happiness. You know. And once I use the word happiness, I always want to share a small story before I walk away. I don't know how many of you know this, but you know sunflowers, right? Sunflowers always face the sun. So that's the law of nature. The sunflowers face the sun. But sunflowers face the sun and accumulate energy from the sun. And that's how they are sunflowers and the color is yellow. Or whatever the color is, it is always got to be bright and yellow, whatever. Now, sunflowers face the sun and start absorbing energy for 9 months in the year. What happens when the rainy season comes? Now, from today onwards, for the next 3 months, the sunflowers will not get sunshine, right? So what happens to the sunflower? And this is what all of you as students and all of you going forward in life must learn and do. This is called the sunflower theory. The time when there is cloud and the sunflowers cannot absorb energy and radiate from the sun, they look at each other and they absorb energy from each other and radiate. This is how sunflowers work. So once they are facing each other, each one of them starts sending their own energy to the other. And that's how sunflowers turn their face. When the sun is on, their face is up. When the sun is not on, they face each other. The next time you go to a garden, watch it. So this is life. Start helping others out. Start working with other people. You have no idea how much others can teach you. You have no idea. And your generation is very, very sad in that sense. You have 500 friends on Facebook. You don't have 5 friends whom you can touch and feel. You have 2,000 people who are saying, giving you thumbs up. But one day you have a problem. You'll have not have 2 people who will come to your door and take you to the doctor. I can guarantee you. Get out of the nonsense called social media. It's good for fun, but it is definitely not fun in life. You must have physical friendships. You must have people you can touch and feel. You must have people who can share on one-to-one. It is most of the people today are suffering from dementia, from bad memory, from bad physical relationships, from bad relationships in life is because you people are losing out on friends and friendships. Be close to people. Human minds, human bodies, human nature are built to be progressively towards each other, not this stupid mobile screen. So thank you very much. And I hope that you all have a great life and wish you all the very best.
Thank you so much, sir, for such a wonderful session. It was very insightful and it was very motivational and enlivening. Sir, from my perspective, I would give a feedback that it was not only you spoke not only about MBA, but not only exposed the stratagem of excelling in the profession of MBA, but also you have exposed the harsh reality of the life and also taught us about how to live a life, how to live a successful life. So thank you so much, sir. Sir, now we have certain questions from the participants. So if you have time, can we uh, enter into the question and answer session?
Yeah.
Okay, sir. There are myriad of colleges offering MBA in India as well as abroad. So there was one question by a participant. What is more valuable, pursuing an MBA in India or in abroad?
Depends on how much money your father has.
Quite witty. Okay, thank you,
My
sir.
father didn't have, so I had to sit for CAT, and then I went to SPJIMR, and then I went to IIM Calcutta. But let me tell you this very bluntly. When you go abroad for an MBA, it is more fancy, unless you go to Harvard, Stanford, Cornell, Wharton. Because in America, every gully has one college. And I'll be honest with you, if you do an Indian MBA, an Indian MMS, I think you're far more better off if you're working here, because you get used to the conditions, the conditionalities. I have people who come and talk to me saying, I want to go to Germany for doing an MBA. For what? I mean, you do an MBA here, and I have actually, my territory of business was half the world, from Japan to Middle East was my territory. I have worked with half of the world. You don't require all this. It's all fancy. पढ़ाई अगर करना है, I always tell this, अगर आपको पूजा करना है ना, इबादत करना है ना, तो घर का कोने में मंदिर में बैठ के इबादत करो, सबसे ज्यादा भगवान तक पहुंचोगे। कोई जरूरत नहीं है 50 फुट का मंदिर बना के उसके सामने बैठ के घंटी बजा के 500 आदमी बुलाने का। इबादत और पढ़ाई और नॉलेज, ज्ञान खुद के लिए होता है। आधा टाइम जो डिग्री करते हो ना फैंसी विदेश जाके, ये दुनिया के लिए होता है। मासी का बेटा इंग्लैंड से किया तो मेरे को अमेरिका जाने के, ये वाला, इट्स अ कंपटीशन। Unless, again, I'm telling you, you are genuinely a good staff and you are going to Harvard, Wharton, Stanford, Cornell, these range of Ivy League colleges, please go ahead. But other than that, I have done certification programs. I have done my certification in leadership from Harvard. I have got my effective English communication from National University of Singapore. I have done another program from London Business School on brand management. Good program, very nice program, no problem. But it's an additional basic program. I am being very honest. I'm sorry to tell you this. I am being very honest. Some people know that they will not qualify to the better colleges in India, so they run abroad. आधा से ज्यादा स्टूडेंट जो विदेश जाता है, मैं चैलेंज करता हूं उसको कैट पास करके दिखाए। तीन बार भी करेगा ना, 3 बार टोटल करेगा मार्क्स, तो भी उसको नहीं मिलेगा एम। ऐसा भी लोग है, मैं जानता हूँ। बट क्या है, पिताजी का पैसा है, बाप खर्च करने को तैयार है, 2 साल का हॉलीडे पापा पे करता है, वो जाके आईफिल टावर में घूमता है। घूमो।
Thank you, sir. Sir, it's always said that a person aiming to become something, he or she must possess some qualities which are in juxtaposition with that profession or that job. So, what, according to you, should be the qualities of an MBA pursuing person, and what things should be known before joining B school?
First is, do you have the required reason to do this program? Are you really hungry to do this program for being a corporate person? What is your ambition or objective to do this program? Are you willing to, do you love to manage organizations? Do you love to manage people? Do you love to, a management person is one who has to have a love for problems. आपको problem खुश हो, मतलब it should make you happy. यार ये लफड़ा हुआ तो मेरे पास आया, let me see how I can handle it. Most people run away from problems. They can never be a manager because, Harold Jeanine, the guy, I don't know if you may not be knowing Harold Jeanine. Harold Jeanine was the chairman of IT&T, but Harold Jeanine joined IT&T as a shaft digger. जो रास्ता खोदता है ना, he joined IT&T at the age of 16 as a shaft digger. एक लोखंड का जो बड़ा पोल होता है, वो लेके रास्ता खोदता है, वो. Harold Jeanine ended up being the chairman of IT&T. And Harold Jeanine का एक famous line है, he says, a manager must know how to manage. That's it. और Harold Jeanine का केबिन में जब वो चेयरमैन बना था IT&T का, ये जो शाफ्ट जिससे वो जिंदगी शुरू किया था, वो एक कांच का शोकेस में रखा हुआ था. So when people used to come and tell him that, I have this problem, I could not do this, he used to look at the shaft and say, this is where I started my career from. The same company. I used to dig roads. Today I'm the chairman. But don't tell me about problems. Get out and find a solution. So you have to have that aptitude. The second thing that you must have is, and I'm telling you this, is a very high sense of integrity. Honesty is rated number 1 in your approach, in your life, and even in your proprietary. Do not be dishonest. मैं हमेशा ये बोलता हूँ, सिखाता हूँ. Money is a byproduct. You will retire with much more than you have thought that you have earned or you wanted to earn when you joined, provided you retire with a very high level of honesty and integrity. ये आप में होना ही चाहिए. अगर ये है, आपका aptitude है, आपका attitude है to learn and undergo problem, please come in management. It's your line.
Okay, thank you, sir. Sir, it's a non-current behavior that students aiming for MBA have number of questions and concerns regarding the placements after pursuing MBA. Is there any difference between a fresher and an MBA with a previous work experience during the placement? Does a fresher get a good placement after MBA?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Doesn't matter.
Okay. So there is also one question from a participant. As we all are aware that the fees of IIMs are quite high, the students give a thought on monetary outcomes after MBA. So are new IIMs or baby IIMs worth joining? What is the expected return on the investment?
I'll break this answer into 2 parts. Number 1 is, are you capable of joining an IIM? This question is very volatile after the first question is answered. So you are planning. Suppose somebody gets in IIM Ahmedabad and he doesn't have money. You don't have to worry. Before you get your admission letter, State Bank of India will be at your house to fund you. In my time, I'll give you an example. In my time, I had a boy called Subramaniam from Madras. Subbu was my batchmate. Subbu in his life did up to his graduation, he used to deliver newspapers to houses. Okay. Subbu ka jo padhai ka paisa hua tha, the money that he got for his graduation was given by one old gentleman in whose house he used to give newspapers. One day he called him and said that, show me your result. Usne Subbu ne usko result dikhaya. Then they spoke. Then he asked about Subbu. Subbu lost his father when he was in 2nd standard. Subbu's mother and Subbu, these are only 2 people. So Subbu used to deliver newspapers and up to graduation, up to 12th standard. Graduation का पैसा ये आदमी ने उसको पढ़वाया था in Madras. And Subbu came into IIM Calcutta. Subbu को जब 16 लाख रुपया फीस बोला गया, Subbu couldn't even calculate the amount. Before Subbu walked out of the room, State Bank funded him completely. Don't worry about all this. If you are good, the world will pay for you. Money is never a deterrent for success. Never. First, be successful. ये जो analysis का paralysis होता है ना, when you analyze too much, you are paralysis. You create analysis paralysis. Don't do that. It is not required. First, get into an IIM. Then we'll talk. I am available to discuss that with you. Come to me with an IIM ka letter. Sir, I have got into this. What do I do? I'll talk to you then.
True, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Sir, there is a last question we have in our comment section. Why investment banker have to work long duration?
Sorry, everybody has to work long duration. If you want to be on the top, you have to be working more than others. We all have worked 16 hours a day, all of us. Ask anybody, they will tell you. 16 घंटा 12 घंटा काम करना कोई प्रॉब्लम है, कोई नया बात नहीं है. Everybody works. Investment bankers have a fancy lifestyle, so they show that they're working harder. There are other people who work behind. Every successful man has to work between 12 to 16 hours for at least 10 to 15 years of your life. You will, but I'll tell you something. This, when you work, you don't feel that you're working because you're enjoying that. Unless you enjoy the process, you will never be a leader. जिस दिन आपको लगेगा ना, oh my God, what am I doing? You have missed it. You are no more in that profession. then you're working, you're a job. आप तब job कर रहे हो, आपको हर चीज pressure लगेगा, आपको हर चीज बहुत गंदा लगेगा. You will feel that shit, what am I doing? Then you start complaining about life, about people, about your boss, about your colleagues. But the same person, if he's enjoying, he will forget all this and keep on pursuing his objective. The organization, the numbers, cracking, market share, brand management. How do I make a better product? तुम पागल हो जाएगा. So that's what life is all about. There's nothing called long hours. The long hours is for others to see. People enjoy that.
So the question was, uh, should we strictly prefer IIMs only for admissions, and what will be the roadmap if we don't get admission into an IIM?
No, I'm
And
not understanding. I'm not understanding.
yeah,
Question.
yeah.
What do you mean by strictly
Basically,
for admission?
the participant is asking. Uh, he is opting for Indian Institute of Management, but even though he wants to pursue MBA, but he is not getting an admission in IIM. So he should opt for any other college, or he should strictly prefer IIMs only.
This is a very personal question actually. Depends on how many tries you want to give before you say that let me try something else. There are people who try 2 to 3 times also, and well, if you get, you get. If you're that hell bent that you have to go to an IIM, I'm sure you'll do well to get in there. But still, sometimes you don't get it, and then you may have to take the other route. So try that. I mean, if you can't get, let's say, 2 years or 3 years, and then you have to take a call. Then you have to decide where do you want to go.
Thank you so much, sir. So I think so. There are no further questions, and so we will be ending the quick Q&A session here. Now we are heading towards the felicitation ceremony of our dignitary. Sir, I would like to felicitate Dr. Chatterjee on behalf of Rotaract Club of Patalganga, the clubs in collaboration, and the participants. Thank you so much, sir, for such an academically informative, very inspiring, enlivening, and insightful session. Thank you so much, sir. And I would also like to apologize for the inconvenience we have caused during this session. This is a small memento from our side, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much. And all those of you who want to register for the next Monday program with us, please contact Aditya and send messages, and then we'll see you next Monday with the training program. Okay. Thank you. God bless
participants.
you. Have a great life.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. Participants can approach us. We will be giving you the contact numbers and all the details which sir
But
has
anyway,
shared.
Aditya's number I've shared. So
Yeah,
they can directly send SMS. I mean,
yes,
WhatsApp.
yes. Even if anybody has not taken the number, they can approach us. We will be sharing that number to you.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Take care.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I request our Vice President to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Shayan. Good evening to all of you, respected Rotaractors and non-Rotaractors. As we come close to the end of the webinar, I, Rotaractor Soruba Sona Harikrishnan, Vice President and Club Service Director, express my immense pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks. A very big thank you, Mr. Pradip Chatterjee, sir, for enlightening us with your knowledge and guidance. The way you shared your experiences, answered every query, and explained the topic was exemplary. This was one of the most informative sessions we had here on Rotaract Colloquium. I take immense pleasure in thanking Rotaract Club of Panache, Rotaract Club of Alumni, Rotaract Club of Unitech, Rotaract Club of United Ranchi, Rotaract Club of RSCOE, Rotaract Club of DYPACS, and Rotaract Club of Kopoli, Rotaract Club of Symbiosis Law School for collaborating with us for the event. I again extend my thanks to our organizing committee for their support. Thank you everyone present here for joining and making this webinar successful. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.